I'm Matt McClure.
And I'm Francesca Maxime, and this is Currents. Mothers who have been behind bars begin the next act of their lives.
You don't just come home and, okay, I know I got my life together and now I'm going to be the perfect mother.
What a catch. Lino Rulli has a date like no other.
I think it's going to be a great date. This is
Date? Wait a minute. We're going on an interview, right?
Interview or date. One of the two.
Okay.
And her story may leave you surprised and inspired.
A beautiful, beautiful thing to just know that, okay, this is a day, you know. If you really want me, Lord, I'm all yours.
Thanks for joining us. In many ways, they are women who are forgotten, mothers behind bars. By one estimate, 76% of women in prison have one or more children. But in Queens, there's a group that's trying to help them.
It is called Our Children, as in hours and minutes. It started in the former convent of St. Rita's. Our Children has helped thousands of mothers start their lives over after being in prison. And this weekend, some of these women will take to the stage in a one-of-a-kind theater piece. Our Natalia Ortiz got a preview.
When a father is incarcerated, it can have a large impact on a family. When a mother is jailed, there is usually no family left. Las Catrinas is a play that reminds people about this overlooked group and demonstrates what can happen to a home when it's the mother who's lost her way.
What if she did come back? What if she did come back and I was sleeping?
Every other week I was getting arrested. But once I made a choice, not even made a choice, once I guess I gave up, and I knew it was a mess. I signed custody of my daughter over to my sister. And that was it. My daughter didn't speak a word to me for 5 years.
Meet Kelly Phelan. Her drug addiction forced her to be incarcerated and miss out on being a mom to Brittany during her childhood years. She's also one of the actors of Las Catrinas playing this weekend in Astoria. The production reminds her of the struggles she faced after returning from jail.
You don't just come home and, okay, I know I got my life together and now I'm going to be the perfect mother. Your kids don't want to hear that, you know, like, you left me, you know, you owe me something.
And what she owed, she's giving back, not just to her daughter, but to the organization that got her through the tough times. The story of Las Catrinas was inspired by the women of Our Children, a Queens-based organization that helps formerly incarcerated mothers.
A home is really the heart of what we offer women who come out of prison with a baby, or women who come out of prison to reunite with children. They need a home, and they need a home where they feel safe and comfortable and supported in their move toward positive life changes.
They're the kind of changes Phelan's been able to make thanks to Our Children.
I got full custody back of her. She doesn't come here a lot, only because, you know, she's 17 years old, so she has a life and friends, and she's going away, and, you know, she's got a life today. But we're good. We're very good, me and Britt.
Her commitment is not only to her daughter, but to the play that portrays a Mexican family in Los Angeles. The story mirrors that of many incarcerated mothers.
You want me to smack you?
The actors for Las Catrinas have been rehearsing all week to put on a play that gives them a sense of hope. What impact do you think this play will have on these women's lives?
You know, it's hard to tell because they're very guarded. You know, my hope is that they'll feel a lot more confident and they'll see that they can be a part of something beautiful. You know, that they have the ability to do that and that people care and people want to hear their stories, you know.
Katrina means elegant woman. This is my day, Dia de los Muertos.
The real stories of these women denote resilience in these mothers who rehabilitated themselves and returned to the lives of the children they'd left behind.
I think that I'm a woman of strength, you know, of endurance. I've been through so much, and, you know, finally I've slowed down enough to live up to my fullest potential.
Benson and her fellow actors are excited to show what that looks like, not just in life, but on stage.
So watch it, you know, it's pretty amazing because it's reality. To us, it's reality.
The play will be running in Astoria through June 21st, and to get tickets to this weekend's performances, you can go to smarttix.com.
And you can also learn more by visiting the Our Children website. That's hourchildren.org. Stay with us. We have the day's headlines and much more straight ahead.
And later, Lino Rullis Catch of the Day comes with a catch of her own.
I'll have the chicken souvlaki, please.
Welcome back to Currents. As we turn to today's headlines, Notre Dame will likely not face sanctions for honoring President Obama. Two high-ranking bishops tell the National Catholic Reporter that the school will not be punished for honoring the president. He favors abortion rights. American Catholic bishops are holding their biannual meeting in San Antonio. Now, at that meeting, the bishops overwhelmingly approved a Mass of Thanksgiving for life. The late Cardinal John O'Connor first requested that Mass in 1990. The Vatican must now approve it. From the Vatican, in advance of the Year for Priests that begins tomorrow, Rome Reports tells us that Pope Benedict has sent a letter of encouragement to clergy.
The Pope has written to all the priests in the world, inviting them to rediscover the importance of being presbyters. He signed the letter on June 16th, 3 days before the start of the Year for Priests. In the letter, Benedict XVI laments the infidelity of some priests that are guilty of very serious situations that, he says, will never be deplored enough. But he also mentions those persecuted priests and the majority who remain loyal in the midst of difficult situations.
With this year, we want to do justice to the truth. The majority of priests are men of dignity that have devoted their lives to the church, to men, and to the poor. The church is proud of them. It's a disgrace that a small group has followed the path of civil and canonical offense. The church does not turn a blind eye and does not ignore this.
In the letter, the Pope encourages priests to follow the example of John Mary Vianney, patron saint of priests. Mainly, he encourages them not to be confined to their parishes, but to also dedicate time to the confession of people, visiting families, preparing feasts, and taking care of the liturgical objects. He also invited them to foster a real friendship with God, and asked them that this friendship be reflected in the devout celebration of Mass and the good formation of people.
The Pope invites them to foster a deeper and stronger spirituality, a deeper conscience and a theological understanding of the identity of the priest, of what it means to be a priest in this historical moment.
The Pope refers to priests as an immense gift for the Church and for humanity. That's why he asks that they live a fraternal priesthood, and that they be united with their bishops and lay people so that they can be authentic messengers of hope, peace, and reconciliation.
Read our lips, no new religious programs. That's the ruling from the PBS National Board. The board says its affiliates can keep broadcasting sectarian programs that are already running, but cannot add any new religious shows. A PBS affiliate in Washington, D.C. has already decided to drop its Mass for shut-ins. The Archdiocese of Washington will have to pay to have that Mass aired on another network. In other media news, the Vatican is instituting a ban of its own, as we hear from Rome Reports.
Vatican employees will no longer have access to social networking sites like Facebook. Following in the steps of other companies, the Vatican has put filters in place to block employee access to these sites during work hours. It's not a move against Facebook itself, but rather against wasting time at work. The Vatican launched its new Facebook and iPhone applications by way of a new website called popetoyou.net. It's one of several initiatives put forth by the Vatican in efforts to use digital media to reach a global audience.
Well, coming up, there are only two in the Brooklyn Diocese, and Lino Rulli catches up with one of them. So stay tuned to find out what happens.
Welcome back. Not long ago, our Lino Rulli asked a lovely young lady out for a date, but she turned out to be a lot less eligible than he thought, which is just one reason why she became Lino's Catch of the Day.
Hey, I'm Lino Rulli. Let me tell you a little bit about me.
I'm 37 years old, I'm single, I'm always looking to meet new people. Today I'm going to meet Angela Scannapieco. I'm pretty excited about this because I hear she's a lot of fun, I hear she's a lot of laughs. I'm a little bit nervous though because she's a consecrated virgin.
Hi, Lino.
Hi, Angela. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Thanks for doing this. It's going to be a lot of fun today.
I'm looking forward to it.
I think. It's going to be a great date. This is I'm
Date?
looking,
Wait a minute. We're going on an interview, right?
Interview or date. One of the two. One of the two.
Okay.
I hope you like Greek food. I made us some reservations here.
Looks like a great place.
All right, good. And if you did, what are we going to do? Can I push the chair in for you?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. So, thank you very much. I'll have the chicken souvlaki, please. And for an appetizer, could we have the saganaki?
You'll put me for a chicken souvlaki also.
So I got to admit, I don't hang out with a lot of consecrated virgins regularly. Tell me what a consecrated virgin is.
Consecrated virgins are women who make a special promise. They're married to Jesus. Jesus is the bridegroom. He's the bridegroom of the church, but he's a bridegroom for us too. But we live in the world. It's different from a sister because we are not in a convent. We have to struggle through everyday struggles like everybody else does, except that we know that we have that little extra support from that spousal relationship.
Did you ever think about, well, why not just become a nun then? It's a little bit easier, a little more common.
And you know, sisterhood is a beautiful thing, and I always admire sisters. But for me, it wasn't the right fit. It provides me a little more freedom to be able to serve wherever God needs me to serve, you know. And she's actually very bright.
All right. Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Amen. Bless us, O Lord, and these thy gifts we are about to receive from thy bounty through Christ our Lord. Amen. So, what was your first reaction when you heard about it? Oh, why don't you consider doing this for your vocation? What was your reaction? You're thinking.
I said, what? That's exactly what my reaction was. Because as well as people haven't heard about it at that point, I hadn't heard about it either.
So, you know, sometimes if a man becomes a priest, people think, oh, he didn't have any other options, or a woman becomes a sister, she didn't have any other options. So for you, were you dating, or was this all a result of, you know, just a bunch of bad dates?
No, actually, I had a lot of good dates in my life. So that's a good thing. Having good dates is important too, because you need to see that, you know, if you know, a bad date was the motivating force of this, that's not proper discernment. Definitely not. Bad dating is not a proper discernment.
So with my priest friends or my friends who are sisters, I sometimes ask them, like, do you miss the physical contact? Do you miss the physical anything at all?
I thought at the beginning, you know, when you first start to hear about, you know, start to think about vocations, and you think about, you know, oh, I was planning on having, you know, 1 million children and having a husband and all this other stuff. But God always gives you what you don't have. If you make promises to Him, if you commit your life to Him, whatever you don't have, God gives you in abundance.
So a lot of women, you know, they dream of their wedding day, they dream of, you know, having a husband and stuff. Did you dream of that and think if it was going to be a nightmare, or is this stuff you really miss in your life?
I had a wedding ceremony, a beautiful wedding ceremony, wore a wedding dress. And at the actually part of the right is where we receive a wedding band. And this wedding band that I have was actually my grandmother's. So it's very, very special. And I always tell people I have the best husband in the whole world, and I don't have to wash any socks.
Well, Angela, this was great. I had a lot of fun. I had a lot of laughs. Thanks so much for going out with me today. This was awesome.
Thanks, Lino. I enjoyed it.
So, any interest in a second interview?
No.
No? Not even a hug?
All right, well, we were curious to hear more about Angela's life story and her vocation, so when we come back, we will. Stay with us.
It is one of the oldest vocations in the church, and also one of the rarest, the Consecrated Virgin. There are fewer than 200 of them in the United States and only 2 in the Diocese of Brooklyn. As you just saw, our Lino Rulli caught up with one of them, Angela Scannapieco, recently.
And Angela's remarkable life prompted us to catch up with her on our own. And the result is tonight's Eyewitness.
For me, my faith is the whole reason for my existence. It's the foundation of my life. It's everything I do is because of my faith. Being consecrated means being set aside. We live in the world, and we serve Christ as women living in the world. It's a struggle every day because, you know, being consecrated doesn't make you canonized. You know, it's one of those things where you still have to struggle and you live in the world, and you have to deal with people that everybody else has to deal with. The day of the consecration was January 28th, 2001. It was the happiest day of my entire life. It really was. It was a nerve-wracking day because you want to make sure you make all the right steps and stand in the right place. But to kneel in front of the bishop and to really make that public commitment, there's not really words that can describe it. It was like a bride on her wedding day. It's just really a beautiful, beautiful thing to just know that, okay, this is a day. You know, if you really want me, Lord, I'm all yours. One of the most rewarding experiences, I would say, is just to be able to work with young people. They're hungry, they're really hungry for the truth, and they want it. If you offer them the truth, they're going to take it and run with it. And I've seen it happen many, many times. We do a little prison ministry. We're talking about Christ's passion, about how much Christ loves us. And it's hard to tell young people that are stuck in a prison that Christ loves them, you know. But you tell them that he knows exactly what you're going through. He was there. He was in prison. And, you know, the eyes light up and it's like, wow, he really did. So when you're feeling that, you can go to him and you can talk to him. And you don't have to say formal prayers. And you can say, look, how did you make it through this? The way you live your life, the way you carry yourself, the way you treat other people, the gentleness of Christ has to show through me. And a lot of times it's very countercultural. You would think that this would be something that wouldn't be, but it is countercultural that, you know, that you're living your life this way and you made this choice, and, you know, and people that are my own blood don't understand it all the time. So, but I'm there and I'm doing what I have to do, and there isn't a thing I could think of that I would be missing. When you say, God, I'm all yours, and he says, okay, you know, I'm going to take whatever you need, even things you don't know you need, he gives you. It hasn't been like, you know, I walk down the street and rose petals fall down. That don't happen. But I'm sure every single day that I am in the right place. And that's another reason why I'm sustained every day, because I'm where I'm supposed to be. And you just know it. You know, it's hard to say how you know it, but you do. You just know it.
And for more information on consecrated virgins, you can visit this website, consecratedvirgins.org.
And a very interesting vocation there, one that folks might not think about when they think of vocations, simply because there are so few consecrated virgins even in the entire world.
Right. I mean, 3,000 in the world, 2 in the Archdiocese of Brooklyn, and then I guess about fewer than 200 here in the whole United States. And it's one of those things that people think of, obviously, priests or deacons or nuns, yeah. But it's not really like that.
That's right. I mean, they live in the world, they have jobs, they haven't taken a vow of poverty like, say, a nun would. It's very different and very interesting.
But they're very dedicated.
That's right, and check out that website. Well, that's it for this edition of Currents. Now, tomorrow, I'll introduce you to a unique program that is helping young unwed fathers.
And remember, you don't need a television to catch Currents. You can watch us online at netny.net. Meantime, thank you so much for joining us. I'm Francesca Maxime.
And I'm Matt McClure. We'll see you next time on Currents. Have a good night.